Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Welcome to our weekly Westchester Update. It is Monday, May 9th, and we're going to cover, as we normally do, the status of our pandemic outbreak here in Westchester County for COVID. We have our special guest from our Municipal Partners Program, the new supervisor of the town of Mamaroneck, Jane Elkine-Eney, and I will have her up here in a couple of seconds to outline some of the things that are happening in their community. Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins will be here to talk about legislation that we have proposed and have put before the Board of Legislators that involves a right to counsel, Office for Housing Counsel, and then we'll give you an update on the calendar for some of our recreational programs that are coming up. We expect it to be a relatively short report, and we'll try to cover all of this stuff quickly. Let me do the COVID information up front. COVID numbers continue to rise, and most of us sort of want to put COVID behind us now. We saw the worst during the Omicron surge that occurred in January, but there's no hiding the fact that there are more infections now by a significant amount than we've had over the last couple of months. We have not taken any action by declaring a state of emergency. We have not taken any action for any restrictions of our behavior. We are continuing to encourage people to be properly vaccinated, which now means 3 to 4 shots, a third shot booster shot or a fourth shot booster shot if you are eligible for it. But what we're seeing now, clearly is an increase, and we can't hide that reality of it. As of yesterday, Sunday, May 8th, we had 4,334 active cases of coronavirus in Westchester County. That number is up almost 1,000 from a week ago, over 1,000 from a week ago. We were at 3,241 cases just a week ago. If we go back a month to the 8th of April, we had 2,279 cases. So that's almost a doubling of cases over the course of 30 days. And if you go back 60 days to where we were in March, and that was the valley in coming back down from the Omicron surge, we had on March 8th, 918 active cases. To go from 918 up to 2,000 plus and now up to 4,000 plus cases is concerning. And for a number of weeks, we've reported that the hospitalization numbers had not increased. The hospitalization numbers are, in fact, increasing now. They are not as steep and proportionate to the total number of active cases, but they are on the rise. The most recent number we have is 98 folks that are hospitalized dealing with COVID in a hospital setting. That's up over the prior week of 81. So over the course of a week, 17 additional people hospitalized. If we go back a month ago, we had 48 people hospitalized. So it's over a doubling of the number of cases. And so 48 now to 98 is an increase in the number of people hospitalized, which shows that the more people that have the disease now, we're starting to see a greater absolute number of people that are being affected by the disease more severely. If there is any good news, it is in the relatively low circumstances of fatalities. We had 1 fatality over the last week, and that is obviously one more than we'd like to have, but that number is better than what we've seen in prior weeks leading up to this point. So we hope that the vaccination numbers are reducing what would be an even higher amount of hospitalizations and certainly contributing to the low number of fatalities. Almost everybody hospitalized and almost everybody who we lose are unvaccinated individuals or people of advanced age or those who have underlying health issues. Those 3 factors, one of those 3 factors seem to be the dominant reason for those who are suffering ultimately in the hospital and or those that we lose. But we're continuing to work on both the testing and the vaccination models. Free testing continues to be available at the Westchester County Center for symptomatic members of the community, those with a known exposure to a confirmed positive case or those who wish to get tested for any other reason. CDC recommends being tested 5 to 7 days after an exposure. Appointments are encouraged, but walk-ins are accepted, and the hour of operations differ each day of the week. We'll show it to you either on the screen or you can look at it on our website, westchestergov.com. They are almost full days on Monday and Tuesday, in the mornings on Wednesday, into the afternoon on Thursdays, then half a day on Fridays. This is Westchester County Center testing. Vaccinations for the next coming week are scheduled specifically at our 2 clinics, the one in Yonkers at 20 South Broadway, first and second shots, third shots, the booster shots, 4 to 7 on Monday evenings, late afternoon into the evening, and then the White Plains Clinic here in downtown White Plains at 134 Court Street, same type of arrangement of shots on Friday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you want to be tested, Westchester County Center. These are the more elaborate PCR testing, a little more accurate than your home testing. You can do that any day of the week. Just check for the times at the county center. If you know that you want to be vaccinated, whatever the next level of vaccination is, whether it's your very first shot or whether you need a traditional booster, which is your third shot, or a fourth booster shot, you can do those things at the Yonkers Clinic on Monday afternoon evenings, White Plains most of the day, 9 to 3. And we continue to monitor where we are with these programs. We are concerned that we're going to have a continued increase as people have relaxed the standards for COVID concern. We are not through the COVID mandate, but we are trying our best to have as much of a normal life as we can. I will point out also that coming up in the space of 2 weeks, on Saturday, May 21st, we will have a satellite location at the Peekskill Middle School, and we will have a satellite at the Riverfront Library in Yonkers on Saturday, May 28th. So those 2 consecutive Saturday dates before the end of the month, we will have the capacity to provide you vaccinations, and that will be out in the communities outside of the 2 clinics in Yonkers and White Plains, Peekskill Middle School and the Riverfront Library. Next now I'd like to bring up a friend of mine. We've known each other for a long period of time. She is a lawyer by profession, and she has served in public office now for quite a number of years, voluntary service to her village and her town prior to elective office. She served as a member of the Larchmont Village Board and then moved up to the Mamaroneck Town Council, where she served as a councilwoman, as a deputy supervisor, and then after last November's election, she became the supervisor for the town of Mamaroneck. For those of you who hear the word Mamaroneck, you may not be exactly connected to the geography. Mamaroneck, as you may know it, the downtown village, is an incorporated village. Most of the village is within the town of Mamaroneck, which is a larger entity, and includes also the village of Larchmont. And then there's an unincorporated section of the town of Mamaroneck. So you have these 3 parts that go into the overall town of Mamaroneck. A portion of the village of Mamaroneck falls within the town of Rye. And if you'd like more details, I can give you a lecture, and I'll award you a master's degree in local public administration. It is a confusing set of circumstances. But the town of Mamaroneck is slightly below 30,000 people in population, the center of the Sound Shore community, halfway between Port Chester and Pelham. It is a vibrant economic environment, and the town itself, because it encompasses parts of 2 villages, has lots of different assets, and it has its share of public requirements and headaches. And those headaches now belong to the town supervisor. Our guest today, Jane Elkine-Eney. Madam Supervisor, welcome.
Thank you, George. I want to first thank George for inviting me to talk about my favorite subject, the town of Mamaroneck, and thank him for his partnership. We always know we have a partner in the county whenever we have an issue or there's some kind of natural disaster. We always know we can call the county, and they're always forthcoming with help. So as George alluded, this has been an incredible year of transition for the town. First of all, our supervisor, Nancy Seligson, retired after 10 years, and I came in to fill her shoes after having been deputy supervisor for 5 years. But more of a seismic wave, our town administrator, Steve Altieri, retired. Now, he'd been the town administrator for almost 40 years, and actually the only town administrator. So fortunately, we have hired a wonderful person to replace him, Meredith Robson. She herself has had 30 years of experience, most recently in Ardsley, and we're happy to have her aboard. Her local experience has been vital because we feel she can just pick up the phone and knows who the players are and knows who to call, and she really did hit the ground running. Of course, she got off to quite a start. We had a hurricane, a tropical storm, and then the Omicron variant. She survived, and she's still with us, and we're very happy to be working with her. Finally, our town clerk, Christina Battaglia, retired after 17 years as a town clerk, and we have a new town clerk now, Allie May, who trained under Christina for the last 3 years. So we've had a lot of transition, but we're still moving forward. And by moving forward, we're doing a comprehensive plan in the town. That's the biggest thing that's going on. So a comprehensive plan is sort of a look to the future. What does the town want to look like when it grows up? What are we looking for the town? What is our vision for the next 10 or 20 years? And in order to do that, we have hired a consultant, Tiffany Zazula from the Pace University Land Use Law Center, which is embedded in Pace Law School. Tiffany has years of experience doing plans like this in the Hudson Valley, and her style or format is a collaborative one with citizen input, which is what we are really looking for. We have a steering committee, which is made up of 8 residents in the community, varying in age and experience. We have the youngest one is 22, and the oldest one is nearly 80, and all of them are involved in many activities and are connected to many people in the town. Right now, we've just completed the due diligence facts-finding phase. So Tiffany and her staff have interviewed all of the town staff, all the boards, commissions. They've taken 3 or 4 driving tours of the town, one hosted by me. And now we're starting with the most important part, which is the public outreach part. The essence of this plan is, what do you, the residents, want out of the town of Mamaroneck? What do you want your community to be? So we had our first listening session last Wednesday, May 4th, and we have 3 scheduled for Wednesday, May 24th. And just to reel them off, one will be from 10 to 11 at our senior center. One will be from 1:30 to 3:30 at the Weaver Street Firehouse, and the last one will be from 7 to 9 at the Hommocks Park Ice Rink. And she and her staff will conduct these sessions, and the types of questions will be centered around recreation, open spaces, transportation, community service, housing needs and choices, and economic development. And I can't encourage you enough to come to one of these sessions and give us your feelings about the community and your thoughts about the future of these categories in the community. We've also been really fortunate in the town to be the beneficiary of some grants. The first one was thanks to Congressman Bowman. We got $308,000 to renovate part of our senior center. We have a side room and 2 porches that are very cold and not so usable in the winter. And so we're going to put new windows in, flooring, and an HVA system. That senior center is just such a vital part of our community. It's got activities all day, every day, and our seniors really love it as their second home. And then thanks to help from the county, we got a CDBG grant of $100,000 for green infrastructure for the parking lot. If any of you have been there, the parking lot really needs some help, and because of our proximity to the sound, we want to put green infrastructure in. So that is something very exciting. I don't think I can talk about the town of Mamaroneck without talking about the environment. I'm pleased to announce that the town was certified by the Department of Environmental Conservation of the State of New York as a climate-smart community. Now, the town was first certified as such in 2016, one of only 9 in the state. And now this year we've been recertified, and 10 communities were certified, but we were the only ones that were recertified for a second time. So what this means is that we have to take steps to mitigate the effects of climate change. And we're constantly upgrading in our systems and our practices, because 5 years is going to come around again and we want to be recertified. We were also named by the U.S. Arbor Day Foundation as a tree city for the 30th year, and there are only 42 municipalities in the state that are on that many years. So we've been really working hard about our trees. Our many residents have been concerned at the number of trees that have been taken down either by storms or by construction. So we've been working on a new tree statute to enhance the tree canopy and restrict when people take trees down. So there's more to come on that because we're at the beginning of that process. And finally, our finances are very strong. We still have a AAA bond rating, and we seem to have recovered nicely from the effects of COVID. Our financial results are positive. Our tax collections are at 98%. Our mortgage tax and sales tax is tracking slightly higher than expected, and even though our expenses have gone up due to inflation, we seem to be doing really well, and it's all within our budget. So everything seems bright and doing well in the town of Mamaroneck, I'm proud to say. Thank you very much, George, for the opportunity to brag about my community.
Thank you very much,
I'll
Jane.
see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you. That is Town Supervisor Jane Eady from the town of Mamaroneck. We're very happy to have various town supervisors, village mayors, city mayors join us here for these updates so that you can get an idea of what's happening all across the county. We've had the pleasure of the mayor of White Plains, the mayor of New Rochelle, town supervisor in Pound Ridge, town supervisor in Mount Pleasant, and so many other different jurisdictions. And we intend to continue this program throughout the course of the year as we give you these updates, so you get a flavor of what's happening in these other communities. Each one's a little bit different, but each one has their own element of appeal, and they each together form the mosaic of Westchester County. So next I'm going to ask our Deputy County Executive, Ken Jenkins, to give us an update on a piece of legislation that has been prepared through the administration that is now going to the Board of Legislators, creating an Office of Housing Counsel and providing with it the right to counsel for those individuals who are indigent. Ken.
Thanks, George. Thanks, George. And the Office of the Office of Housing Counsel is a proposed piece of legislation that will be coming down from the county executive, being submitted today to the County Board of Legislators for their consideration, debate, and review. And this is an offshoot of a scenario where we have had since 2018. The county executive authorized a pilot program to happen in the city of Yonkers, where there was a pilot program specifically in Yonkers courts that worked with the Department of Social Services to be able to identify and support those individuals that would have ended up in the county shelter system. This particular piece of legislation has in it proposed a cap of 300% of the median income for the federal housing level for a family of four. For number purposes, that's about $83,000 for a family of four, which would be the income cap for those individuals that would be eligible for this proposed service, which will provide an Office of Housing Counsel. That person will manage the Right to Counsel program for evictions in Westchester County. It's going to start specifically as proposed in the legislation in the cities and then moved into towns and villages a little bit later on during the program. But this is going to provide attorneys for tenants at no cost by non-for-profit organizations or qualified professionals selected by the county pursuant to a county procurement process. And the Office of Housing Counsel will have a director that will be appointed by the county executive, but will work out of the Department of Social Services. You know, when you think about these kind of programs, you should think that according to the 2020 annual homelessness assessment report, there's about 92,000 New Yorkers currently experiencing homelessness. And the county's responsibilities include housing those individuals at every level. And whether those folks go into drop-in shelters, which is what most people think about with the shelter system, but we also have residential shelters, we have them for families, and we certainly have them for individuals, and they're separated into male and female opportunities for those kind of services. But the county provides all of those services as part of a network of things that we help to do to one, stabilize the folks in the community, and certainly to make sure everyone is safe and secure throughout the county. So this particular program will have some features in it that are similar to other places around the state, specifically in New York City, where they do have a right to counsel program. But it's a lot different in New York City because New York City has housing court. So they have specifically housing court. In Westchester County, during the pandemic, obviously we saw tremendous impact for families and for apartment dwellers, both on the individual side and on the landlord side. And if you watch the state legislation as things were moving forward, the people that were protected with eviction moratoriums until January of 2022, those particular services were essential of having a right to counsel program where you have an attorney, because the landlords almost always have an attorney to be able to come to a conclusion that will be worked out for both sides, for both the tenants as well as the landlords. The New York City, we had a Westchester County Right to Counsel Coalition. Those folks came together throughout Westchester County through a series of nonprofit organizations, and they were advocating for the county to move forward in this direction to create a right to counsel program. The county executive, working with all the team members here on the ninth floor on the senior team, as well as our Department of Social Services and our Department of Planning, who also manages several of the housing programs, came up with this particular piece of legislation, which is now being sent down to the Board of Legislators for their consideration. Again, understanding that the eviction process is something that's a challenging process for people to navigate. The provision of attorneys for those individuals that are in that particular process only simply matches up with what the landlords have to do. But Westchester County's role in this is to make sure that we keep people in their homes as best as we can, and certainly that includes trying to ensure that people that have a particular household need are getting that household need matched through the Department of Social Services. So this particular time frame, where we have over 8,000 people in Westchester County that we know of right now that have pending court cases for evictions throughout the pandemic, this particular piece of legislation, should it be enacted, will be able to move forward with the state program, because the state right now provides right to counsel legislation. The main provider in Westchester County is Legal Services of the Hudson Valley, which was allocated over $5 million from the state of New York to be able to provide that service. We need to work with everyone together to make sure that we have people having their rents paid, and if they have to move on, then we work together to have that happen. But to have legal representation and proper legal representation for those individuals to help to make sure that they have the services that they need, make sure that we have lack of people that are hitting our homeless shelters and unfortunately maybe even being homeless in the street. We know that Westchester County believes strongly, and everyone in Westchester County believes that housing has some rights. However, it makes sure that working together, that we'll have everyone in Westchester County to be able to move forward together. This is another outstanding opportunity that's been provided through the leadership of County Executive Latimer, and we now see what will happen with the Board of Legislators. Many of our legislative partners have been advocating for their services for years, and as I previously mentioned, the County Executive has had this program in a pilot form from 2018, and then in 2020, we were able to extend that service because courts were closed and they were virtual. We were able to extend that service to all members of Westchester County courthouses. So this is an exciting program. We look forward to the board's deliberation on this. Make sure that your voice is heard by speaking to your individual legislators as they go through the deliberative legislative process. Thanks, George.
Thank you very much. Ken Jenkins, our Deputy County Executive. And I should point out, as you no doubt know by now, Ken served as the chairman of the Westchester County Board of Legislators roughly about 10 years ago. I served as the chair of the Board of Legislators 20 years ago. So we have great respect for the legislative process. That is what will then now take the legislation, discuss it in committee, open it up for input by any individual side of the equation who's affected by this, certainly advocates in the advocate community, and open to the general public, and they may reshape the law, and we'll see what happens. Ultimately, after the legislature acts, they would send the bill to me, and then we would take action from there to sign it as the most likely action since we put it together. But we wanted to give you an idea of that, and anytime there's major legislation, we'll defer to the Board of Legislators who will want to announce their initiatives, but there are times when the initiatives are on our effort, and so we'll make those announcements from here so you're aware of it. Let me now go over a series of some upcoming dates and events and activities that will close out this report for a very short period of time. Here in the month of May, we're getting very close to opening our 2 county beaches. We have Croton Point Park Beach and Croton Point Park in Croton on the Hudson. That's a Hudson River beach. That's going to open a little later this month on the 28th of May, Saturday, May 28th. That is also the day that Glen Island Beach, which is the largest of our beaches in New Rochelle, will open. That is on the Sound Shore. So Glen Island Beach in the southeast portion of the county, Croton Point Park Beach in the northwest corner of the county. Both of those beaches will open for summertime swimming as of Saturday, May 28th. Right now, the weather doesn't seem like it's ever going to be beach weather. It will be in due time. And we, at this point, have no restrictions to announce for COVID. We may yet have to do that, but we open the season hopefully being able to socially distance effectively and informally make sure we do not have a spread of the disease. We have had no spreader from the beaches being open in the past 2 years of COVID, 2020, 2021. So we're happy to open those two beaches this year on the 28th of May. Almost a month later, on June 24th, which is a Friday, we will open our 4 county pools. Wilson Woods Pool in Mount Vernon, Saxon Woods Pool in White Plains, and then the 2 Yonkers-based pools, one in Sprain Ridge, where there are actually a complex of 2 pools there, and Tibbetts Brook Park in the central part of Yonkers. So the 4 pool complexes will open a month later on Friday, June 24th, and that pretty much coincides with kids being out of school, and we would expect to open them up most every day of the week, not all 7 days, but most of the week throughout the course of the summertime, give people a place to cool off. So the 4 pools and the 2 beaches together, they're spread out geographically from New Rochelle to Mount Vernon, Yonkers, Croton, White Plains. So there's some diversity in where people can access some water to keep them cooled off, and those are all starting. We just completed our 2nd Sunday for Bicycle Sunday, which we always reinstitute the first Sunday of the month of May. The route takes you from White Plains on the Bronx River Parkway south to an exit in Yonkers. It's Scarsdale Avenue. It's in Yonkers, however, and it's adjacent, connected into downtown Tuckahoe. So that route that goes back and forth is open from 10 a.m. in the morning to 2 p.m., which means the roadway is closed, and if you are driving around, you will not be able to access the Bronx River Parkway between those 2 areas, Bronxville to the south, White Plains to the north. The Sprain Parkway represents an alternate high-speed access parallel to the Bronx River Parkway. But Bicycle Sundays will kick off every Saturday in May and June, with the exception of Memorial Day weekend, and we are actively looking at determining whether or not we can continue to extend that. The last 2 years, because of COVID and so many other recreations were shut down, and through the generosity of both corporate and private donors, we were able to achieve some money to allow Bicycle Sunday to stay open through the months of July and August, which was not traditional. Usually it's May and June, shuts down July and August, reopens September and into late October. We will obviously have the service for May and June and for September and October. We're looking to determine if we can keep it open all summer long, and we'll certainly announce that if we can do that as part of our process. But that date, again, is now underway. The next date this coming Sunday, May 15th, and we'll continue on the respective Sundays. We should also point out that we intend to start our robust series this year of ethnic festivals, cultural celebrations at various locations in Westchester County. The kickoff also comes on that same day, Sunday, May 15th, from noon to 6 at the Kensico Dam Plaza, and we start with our 43rd annual Polish Heritage Day. This will showcase our Polish-American cultural exhibits, polka music and dancing. There's a children's Polish school performance. You'll meet the parade marshal and Miss Polonia. You'll sample authentic Polish foods and baked goods. I'm going to lay off the baked goods, but you should try them, while browsing a variety of vendors that will be selling Polish crafts. These festivals just begin on that date, and I'll give you just a quick rundown in a second, but Sunday, May 15th, we begin with Polish Heritage Day. Kensico Dam Plaza is where most of these are located, or there are a couple at Ridge Road Park in Hartsdale, Greenburgh. Saturday, June 4th, 12 to 6 at Kensico Dam Plaza, the Asian American Heritage Festival. The following day, Sunday, June 5th, also at Kensico Plaza, 12 to 6, the Albanian American Festival Day. Then on Saturday, June 25th, noon to 7 at Ridge Road Park over in Hartsdale, it's the Irish American Heritage Festival. And then the following day, we return to Kensico Dam Plaza, Sunday, June 26th, noon to 6, for the African American Heritage Festival. The Hispanic Heritage Festival comes in July, Sunday, July 10th at Kensico Dam Plaza. 2 weeks later, the Italian Heritage Festival on the 24th of July at Kensico Dam Plaza. And then in the month of August, Sunday, August 21st from noon to 6, the Jewish Heritage Festival, and the week following that, Sunday, August 28th, the Muslim Heritage Festival. All of those last ones are at Kensico Dam Plaza. We look forward to that as a way to express the multicultural mosaic that is Westchester. I always talk about that, and it's a lot of fun. There's food, there's dance at every one of these things. It's a great meeting time and a great meeting place for people. We will monitor the COVID circumstances, determine if there are any special provisions that may have to be made. But at this point, we have not made any restrictions. We've not restricted required mask wearing at these events. We have not canceled these events. So we hope we'll get through to them and be able to have a good time. We also have one more substantive activity to mention, and that is the beginning of our airport master plan public forums. They begin on Tuesday, May 24th, at the Pace Law School on North Broadway in White Plains, 6 p.m., and that will be the first of what will be a number of opportunities to come out and express your general opinion about the future of Westchester County Airport. As we covered in last week's update and in the past, we intend to do a full master plan reboot. The last full master plan wasn't done since 1989. There was a version that was filed by our predecessor in 2017. We are, in essence, updating that, but the updating, we think, will have a more thorough look at things and ultimately will be put before the Board of Legislators for their approval. But we begin with these input sessions, the first one May 24th in White Plains at Pace Law School. In the next subsequent weeks, we have one scheduled at Manhattanville College in Purchase, and then we follow up with one at Mercy College in Dobbs Ferry. We expect to do additional public forums. We'll do a virtual public forum, maybe two, to try to provide a full, robust input from all the residents of Westchester County, wherever you may be, and try to get your input in on this issue. So we plan our airport for the future and hopefully make some intelligent and sound decisions. So we have recreational facilities, we have beaches, we have pools, we have Bicycle Sunday, we have our ethnic festival, heritage festivals at Kensico Dam and Ridge Road Plaza, and then we also have the substantive input that comes from our airport master plan. So all of those things and more will be evidenced for everyone's attention. I'll close my comments by highlighting one more event. Memorial Day this year falls on Monday, May 30th, which is both the Monday holiday Memorial Day and the traditional Memorial Day of May 30th. And so we will see all sorts of activities happening over the weekend. A number of communities are planning parades and ceremonies. Sometimes they're channeled through the American Legion or the VFW Post in a community. Most of the activities will fall on Monday, May 30th, although some are scheduled before that. There will be a parade in the village of Hastings on the Sunday beforehand, a parade in the village of Mamaroneck Sunday in the late afternoon, evening, and a variety of ceremonies. Westchester County has a ceremony at Lasden Park in the Arboretum and in that area of Katonah, Somers, for Friday, May 27th at 12 noon. And we specifically planned it at the beginning of the weekend so as not to conflict with the various local activities that are happening. So no one feels that it's either the county event or the local event. We try to balance those off. We do the same thing when we reach 9/11 to try to have a county event that does not conflict with the local municipal event. So if you want to, you can go to the one in your home community as well as the county event. We'll tell you more about that in the upcoming updates. But Friday, May 27th, 12 noon at Lasden, that is where we have our Veterans Hall of Fame. And as we have in the past few years, we expect to have a very moving ceremony on that date, and then other activities over Memorial Day weekend. It may not feel like the spring outside quite yet, but we have reached the spring, and we're heading straight away to the summer, and we intend to have as normal a summer as we can muster, given COVID and given all of our other concerns. So I don't know if we have any questions from the press, this being the kind of update that it was. We'll encourage anybody that's following this on a feed, reach out to Catherine Chaffee, our Director of Communications at 995-2932. She'll be happy to speak with you. If anybody has any public comment on any of these things that we're doing, you're welcome to communicate directly to us. We have a general email box, communications@westchestergov.com, and we welcome any public comment. We're happy to be as responsive. We will respond to every email that we receive. Obviously, there are people that want to express their opinions, and so we're happy to hear those opinions. We're very open and very inclusive in our desire to hear your opinions, and that will be seen at the airport and some other activities. So with that, well, thank you for watching. On behalf of Ken Jenkins, our Deputy County Executive, thank you again to Jane Eny, Town Supervisor of Mamaroneck Town, for joining us. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.